Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa, and what the hell is going on? It looks as if May has finally been worked out. I mean, let's think about this for a second, because May, when she was first introduced into the game, it was like, oh my god, this is a character that can deploy a piece of terrain, because that's basically what she was, right? She could deploy this massive ice wall which just blocks line of sight, which prevents people from shooting. And when you think about all the small choke points in Overwatch, surely it would be amazing to just block these choke points up to stop people coming through. And I think that's what people started to do initially. Problem is, as soon as the May wall goes in, well, you know it's on cooldown, so then when the wall destroys itself, you just sort of walk through the choke, and then what the hell do you do? Well, I've been watching a shed load of the Overwatch Open recently, and they have been using May in almost every single game. It is absolutely ridiculous. Now, obviously, there are certain maps that she's really, really powerful on. Maps like King's Row. She's actually quite good on Gibraltar as well, or even Hanamura. She's extremely powerful. You could even maybe use her on Temple of Anubis, even on control point maps. She is crazy. Now, one of the reasons why we're seeing May come in, sort of into the meta in this kind of way, is because she's quite good against tanks, and at the moment, tanks, you see them quite a lot. You see the triple tank, maybe even the quad tank build. But even so, even without that, you can use May to hold chokes. You can see in the footage in the background here, this is me playing May on competitive, and it's just like, it almost feels a little bit too easy. Like, people fall into the May traps all the time. So simple things to do are just basically block people off as they come through a choke. What you don't want to do is show that you're a May. You don't want to stand in front of their spawn, and you don't want to wall the spawn door. That is stupid, because I'll know you've got a May, and they're like, oh, alright. So they're going to be wary then of the wall. What you also don't want to do is when the team move around to the choke, is just put the wall in front of them to completely block them out. Because again, you're not really doing anything, and they know that you're a May, and they also know that your cooldown is now on, so you're not going to be able to drop the wall straight away. What you want to do instead is slice them in half. As soon as some people come through, stick the wall down, and then it's like 2v6, 3v6, and you should be able to just kill them absolutely rapid. But it's not only that about May. I mean, that is powerful. If you use it right, it can be really, really powerful. May is a tank. I don't care what category she's in. She is not a defense hero. She is a goddamn tank. She can take a ton of damage. She can jump into her ice block and just heal herself, which is crazy. She's immune while she's in this thing. You can use to contest pretty much everything in the game. We've all been there, right? Temple of Anubis, final point. You need to swap to heroes to just keep the point alive. So you've got your Diva. Maybe somebody goes to Winston. You go to May. You jump into the point. You wall yourself into the corner. You let the wall destroy itself. Then you jump into your ice block. You can absorb so much damage. It is, well, you're not even absorbing damage, right? You're just immune to it. It is absolutely insane. And let's talk about her alternate fire. Because her primary fire, yeah, that's pretty good. That completely shuts down Genji. It wrecks tanks because they can't do anything to you. No tank in the game can stop May freezing them in a 1v1 situation. May will just freeze you and then start headshotting you. She might not kill you, but she's going to freeze you. The rest of her team are going to wreck you real bad. And it's just utterly insane. But her alternate fire, it's the same damage as McCree. That's what it is. I mean, if you land that, it's like a McCree. Now, it's much harder to hit, right? It's a projectile. It's not a hit scan weapon. So McCree's Peacemaker is a hit scan weapon. So when you fire it, it hits the target immediately. May's is a projectile, so it's got travel time, but it's an extremely fast projectile. It's much faster than Hanzo's arrow, I think, although don't quote me on that. But you can get used to using this. I mean, you can run training drills against bots, just fire and get along. You can do a lot of considerable damage with this, and it almost comes as like a surprise to the enemy team. It's like, oh my god, May is doing quite a lot of damage. When you look at the pro players, you've got people like a guy called IDDQD, which I believe is a Quake cheat. But he's really good with McCree. But he plays May sometimes as well, and he can be really devastating on May. Like if you've got good aim, you can sort of transfer that into May. But that's not just what May's about, because I think we need to talk about her ultimate, because this is probably where a lot of the May sort of resurgence has come from. Blizzard increased the range on May's ultimate a while back. Now, what this means is May can throw her ulti down and pretty much reliably capture whoever the hell she's threw this thing at, because the radius is so large. And a lot of the points, she can pretty much cover the entire area of the fight. If you look at Temple of Anubis, the final point, or the first point, she basically covers the whole area. If you look at Temple of Hanamura, if you look at Hanamura, final point, she basically covers the entire point when she throws that down. So powerful. Any control point maps, you can just toss that into the control point. Oh my god. Like the King of the Hill maps, it's just everybody's frozen. And May is just this, she's this character that I've always thought is very powerful, but you don't really see much May, or at least we wasn't seeing much May. Now we're seeing a lot of May. And I guess in part, we're like, obviously the reason for that is people are starting to work out how to use it. It's like Ana, right? When Ana first came to the game, everybody liked the idea of it, everybody enjoyed playing her, but we're just going to carry on playing Lucio Mercy or Lucio Zen or Mercy Zen, because what's the point of having this sort of high skill cap healer? But then when people worked out how to use her effectively, and she's not about standing in the back, she's about being in the fight, and then she's about dropping a nano boost onto somebody else so they can basically use their ultimate, or onto a Reinhardt or something like that. Suddenly the game changes, and with Mei, she's suddenly become a lot more reliable because of her ultimate change, because she can realistically catch people in this. No longer is it this ultimate what you hear come in and you just sort of walk away from. Now it's going to catch you, and it's just ridiculously powerful. But like, yeah, it really amazes me when you see this kind of thing happening in Overwatch, because heroes come to the fore, and heroes, you know, they get nerfed, they get buffed, they're going to jump around. The meta, the balance, it's all going to change. But one thing that really annoyed me, and in part this is why I wanted to make this video, is I played a couple of games recently, and we had a Mei. We were on Gibraltar, we were on defense. We had a Mei. It's fine, right? That's totally fine. She was chopping them off, like as they were coming from the underpass and when they were coming into the server room, blocking them off, cutting them in half. She was playing really well. We stopped them before they even got to the first choke point. Then, on attack, this player carried on playing Mei. Now, I don't have an issue with this. I'm like, oh, it's fine, you know, Mei player, whatever. Our team, however, oh my god, they got so salty. They were tilting so hard. They were like, get off the Mei, we don't need the Mei. The game hadn't even started, you know, and they're saying this over the microphone as well. And I'm thinking, why? This player was okay. This player then starts biting back, going, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. Then they're like having an argument, which is great. I'm sitting there thinking, great guys, you know, we've only got to push this literally under the bridge. That is it. At the first point on Gibraltar, you know where the first checkpoint used to be before they removed it? Basically to there. It was nothing. And the team have gone crazy because they're all arguing with each other because they don't want Mei to play Mei. Mei is a very powerful hero when she's used right. There are some situations where you might not take a Mei, but if you've got a Mei on your team, don't think to yourself, oh, it's all over, this is bullshit. Mei is fine, guys. She's totally fine. In fact, go and play Mei yourself if you want to. But remember, try and use her properly. Don't just block people off in the spawn. Don't cut them off in choke points. Well, don't just like totally block the enemy team in a choke, because they're going to know that you're there. It's a bit stupid. Instead, what you want to do is look to slice teams in half as they come through chokes. You want to look to get up in people's faces. Remember, Genji can't touch you. Literally nobody can touch you. You have to get jumped on by a number of enemy team players to just kill you, basically, as Mei. You're so tanky. You want to get in there. You want to freeze people. You want to right-click them in the head. Everybody's been a victim of that, where Mei just lines it up and gives you the right-click to the head. That's what you want. It's beautiful. And then your ultimate can be used to absolutely save the day. I mean, I've used this thing to save points that were going to be a complete loss. Like, maybe you come rushing out of the spawn, Temple of Anubis at the end. You know maybe it's going to be a loss, right? You're running through, you got your ult, you chuck it onto the point, and it just completely freezes everyone, and then you can just start picking them off. So powerful, guys. Oh my god. So I think we're definitely in the age of Mei. It's going to be interesting to see how this develops. Because, yeah, I mean, I would never have expected to have seen as much Mei as I have been seeing recently. It's just, she's so powerful, it's beautiful. And especially if you watch the pros player, it's pretty interesting. And you guys should check that out, the Overwatch Open, which I think is going into its final stages now. But yeah, pretty interesting. Alright guys, I'm Stylosa. This is Unit Lost. If you enjoyed this video, and if you are a Mei main, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and all that good stuff. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming. And I'll catch you next time, guys. Toodaloo.